So you've probably seen the headlines by now. Thailand tourism is dead. It's over. The golden age is finished. Every second video on YouTube right now is some guy standing in an empty bar in Pattaya talking about how nobody wants to come here anymore. And look, I get it. Doom sells. But here's what's wild. You watch those videos, then you step outside in Bangkok and the place is still packed. Suvarnabhumi's a zoo. The hotels are full. Restaurants have lines. So what's really going on? Here's the truth. Nobody's saying out loud, Thailand didn't fail. Thailand just stopped wanting you. And I don't mean that as an insult. I mean it as a fact. Because what's happening right now isn't about Thailand losing tourists. It's about Thailand deciding which tourists it actually wants. And if you're watching this video, there's a decent chance you're not on that list anymore. I'm not here to sell you panic, and I'm damn sure not here to sell you copium about how everything's fine. I'm here to break down what's actually happening on the ground, what it means for the guy planning a trip or thinking about moving here, and why some of the guys screaming the loudest about Thailand dying are the ones who need to hear this the most. Let's get into it. All right, so let's start with the numbers that everyone's losing their minds over. From January to October 2025, Thailand saw about 25 million visitors. That's down 7.5% year on year. Chinese tourists down 30%. Europeans down somewhere between 7 and 11% depending on which report you read. Americans down about 5%. On paper, that looks bad. And yeah, it is a drop. But here's where it gets interesting. Revenue back to pre-pandemic levels. We're talking 1.6 to 1.8 trillion baht, almost the same as 2019 when arrivals were way higher. So let me spell that out for you. Fewer people, same money. Think about what that means for a second. Thailand's making the same cash with 7.5% fewer tourists walking through the door. That's not a collapse, that's efficiency. And here's the part nobody tells you when they say tourism is dead. It's not dead. It just doesn't need you anymore. Because if Thailand can make the same revenue with fewer bodies, that means the people who are coming now are spending way more per person than the guys who used to come. And that shift, that's deliberate. Let me hit you with some numbers that'll make this real. In 2013, a decent hotel room in Bangkok ran you about 2,500 baht a night. Today, that same room is 4,200 baht. That's a 70% increase in a decade. Phuket used to be 3,000 baht a night. Now it's closer to 5,500. That's almost 80% more expensive. And yeah, some of that's inflation, but not all of it. A lot of it is strategy. This is why your hotel search feels worse than the videos you watched 2 years ago. This is why the bar beers feel like they doubled since the last time you came. This is why your $2,000 a month budget doesn't stretch the way all those Thailand is cheap videos promised. Because Thailand looked at the numbers and made a decision. We'd rather have 100 rich guys spending 10,000 baht a day than 1,000 broke guys spending 1,000 baht a day. And from a business perspective, that makes sense. Less wear and tear on infrastructure, less drunk idiots causing problems, more money per headache. But if you're the guy who moved here or planned your retirement around cheap living, that decision feels like a betrayal. It's not. It's just economics. Thailand woke up and realized it didn't need to compete on price anymore. It could compete on exclusivity, and exclusivity means higher prices, which means a lot of guys who thought they found paradise are now getting priced out of their own dream. So if the Westerners and Chinese are down, who's filling those hotel rooms? Middle Eastern families, Indian travelers, long-stay Israelis, Russians on Thai elite visas that blur the line between tourist and resident. These aren't backpackers trying to stretch 30 bucks a day. These are families dropping serious cash on 5-star resorts, private tours, high-end dining. And Thailand didn't just let them come, it rolled out the red carpet. Look, I'm not saying these are better or worse tourists. I'm saying they're wealthier tourists, and that's what Thailand wanted. The government's been saying it out loud for years now. We want quality over quantity. We want high-spending travelers. We want people who'll drop money without negotiating every tuk-tuk fare. And while guys like you and me were still booking Agoda deals and looking for the cheapest pad Thai, Thailand was already pivoting to a completely different customer base. That's not a secret conspiracy, that's just marketing. But here's what stings. A lot of Western guys built their entire identity around being the customer Thailand wanted. The guy who got treated like a king because he had dollars or pounds or euros. And now you're just another face in the crowd, and the crowd's got deeper pockets than you do. Let me paint you a picture of what this shift actually looks like when you're walking around. Walking Street in 2018, packed with drunk Brits, Aussies, Americans yelling at 3 a.m., girls pulling guys into bars every 5 steps, chaos everywhere. Walking street in 2025, different vibe entirely. You've got more families, more people speaking Arabic at hotel breakfast buffets, more Russians talking loud in restaurants, fewer solo Western guys stumbling between beer bars. The bars that used to be shoulder to shoulder, now they're half full. But the prices didn't drop, they went up. You order a beer, the staff barely looks up. Then the guy next to you drops 3,000 on lady drinks and suddenly everyone's smiling, making eye contact, bringing snacks. That's the new hierarchy, crystal clear. And the bar girls, they're not chasing every guy who walks past anymore. They're watching, they're calculating, they see who's spending and who's counting, but the staff energy is different too. Hungrier, yeah, but also more transactional. Less patience for the low spenders, more focus on the guys who look like they've got money to burn. You can feel the shift before anyone explains it to you. It's not hostile, it's just selective, like the whole country recalibrated who it's performing for. And if you're not that guy, you feel it in 1,000 small ways that are hard to put your finger on but impossible to ignore. And here's where most guys get punched in the face by reality. But let's talk about what you actually care about, the women and the nightlife, because this part shocks guys the most. Fewer Western guys in the bars means the entire dynamic changes. The girls working the scene, they're not stupid. They see the market shifting. They see that the Russian guy is dropping 10,000 baht without blinking, while the British guy is trying to negotiate 2,000. Guess who gets the attention? Last month, I sat in a Pattaya bar around 11 p.m. 5 Russian guys at one table, ordering bottle after bottle, tipping heavy. Then a British guy walked in asking about happy hour prices. The bartender answered him, sure, but the energy, completely different. It was like watching someone decide in real time who's worth the effort. Prices are up across the board, more aggressive selling, more upsells, more negotiation fatigue. The whole transactional layer that used to feel playful now feels harder, pushier, more exhausting. And I see guys arriving here with 2012 expectations, getting pissed off and calling it all a scam. But it's not a scam. You're just not the target demographic anymore. The fantasy you had, cheap paradise where you're treated like a king just for showing up with a Western passport, that product's been discontinued. Thailand's not selling that anymore. And here's what hurts. For a lot of guys, that fantasy was weight-bearing. It was the thing holding up their entire reason for being here. The identity they built. The escape plan they told themselves justified leaving everything behind. And when that fantasy collides with 2025 reality, it doesn't just sting financially, it cuts deeper, because it makes you ask a question you didn't want to ask. If I'm not special here, then where am I special? That's the real shift. It's not about bar prices, it's about what those prices represent, the end of the illusion that you could buy significance. Here's where I'm going to push back on some of the guys complaining the loudest. A lot of expats are furious right now because they personally can't afford Phuket anymore, can't afford the islands, can't afford the tourist zones they used to love. And I get it. I feel it too. I've got spots I used to visit that are now out of my range when I factor in hotels, domestic flights, the whole package. But here's the thing, man. You came here for cheap living. You moved to Thailand because it was affordable, because you could stretch your pension or remote income further than back home. Now the country's moving upmarket. Prices are rising. The target customer is changing. That's not betrayal. That's just business. Thailand doesn't owe you cheap rent forever. It doesn't owe you 50 baht pad Thai for eternity. It's a country, not a discount store for Westerners. And the resentment so many guys feel, it's not really about Thailand. It's about realizing you're no longer the customer they built the marketing materials for. You thought you were the main character in Thailand's story. Turns out you were just one customer segment, and now that segment's getting phased out. That's a tough pill to swallow, but it's the truth. Okay, enough theory. Let's stop talking analysis and get to the part that'll actually save you money and possibly save your trip. So revenue's up, arrivals are down. Sounds like Thailand's winning, right? Not so fast. Because what the data doesn't show is who's actually catching that money. The big hotel chains, Marriott, Hilton, Accor, they're doing fine, great even. But the mom and pop guest house that needs your 800 baht a night, the local restaurant that relied on backpackers eating there every day, the tuk-tuk driver who used to get steady tourist fares, they're getting squeezed. See, the backpacker economy used to feed the ground level. It was distributed. 20 guys staying in small guest houses, eating at family-run spots, hiring local drivers. That money spread out. Now, it's concentrated. The wealthy tourist books the 5-star resort, eats at the hotel restaurant, uses the hotel car service. That money goes straight up the chain to corporate shareholders who don't live here and don't spend here. And this is what worries me long term, because Thailand's making the same revenue, but fewer Thai people are touching it. The wealth gap's widening, elite tourism versus everyone else getting left behind. And here's the part most people miss. Thai people aren't sitting around hoping Westerners return. They're adapting, they're hustling, they're doing what every human does when the world changes. They survive. Shop owners pivot to selling what the new tourists want. Restaurants adjust menus. Drivers learn Russian phrases. But that doesn't mean it's sustainable. Not culturally, not economically. That's Thailand's problem to solve though. Not yours, not mine. Here's what a lot of guys are missing when they blame Thailand for everything. The global economy is wrecked right now. Brits can't afford to travel like they used to. Inflation's eating everyone alive. Savings rates are up because people are scared. Discretionary spending is down across the board. Flight prices from London to Bangkok, basically the same as 2013, but wages didn't keep up with inflation. So even though the ticket costs the same, it feels more expensive because everything else got pricier too. China's in the middle of its own economic crisis, real estate market collapsing, youth unemployment through the roof. You really think safety concerns are why Chinese tourists dropped 30%? Come on, they can't afford it. But here's what gets me. There's this weird glee in some of these Thailand is dying videos, like guys are happy about it. You can feel it in the comments. The schadenfreude, the I told you so energy. And I think I know where that comes from. Bad breakup, lost money on a bar girl, got scammed, got old and realized the attention wasn't about you, it was about your wallet. Ego couldn't handle being regular again, so now it's personal. Now Thailand has to fail to prove you were right all along. But bro, you can move on without wishing collapse on a whole country. You can go to Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, the Philippines, wherever gives you what you need, without rooting for Thailand to burn. That bitterness, that's not about Thailand, that's about you. So what do you actually do with all this? If you're already living here, rural Thailand is still affordable. Tourist zones aren't. Adjust accordingly. Stop trying to live like you're on vacation in places built for tourists with 10 times your budget. If you're planning to visit, bring more money than you think you need, or pick different cities. Chiang Rai over Chiang Mai, Hua Hin over Phuket. You can still find value, but you've got to be smarter about where you look. If you're coming for the nightlife, understand that you're competing with wealthier guys now. Your dollar doesn't go as far. Your passport doesn't open as many doors. Adjust your expectations or you're going to spend the whole trip bitter. And if you're thinking about moving here long term, do the math based on 2025 prices, not 2015 YouTube videos, because the Thailand those videos sold you doesn't exist anymore. Here's the mantra. Don't fight the current. You can adapt or you can find a different river. Both are fine. But standing in the middle screaming that the river should flow backwards, that's just a waste of your energy. Look, tourism isn't dead, it's changing. Thailand's making a bet that fewer tourists spending more money is the future. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but I'll tell you this, I want them to win. Even though it costs me more now, even though I can't afford the spots I used to love, even though my kid's school trip to the islands makes me think twice about the budget, I still want Thailand to succeed because the people here work hard. They've built something real, and they deserve a stable economy that doesn't depend on selling themselves cheap to every guy with a plane ticket and a dream. But I'm not going to pretend the old Thailand's coming back. It's not. The cheap paradise where Western guys were treated like kings just for showing up, that's done. And maybe that's okay, because maybe what we loved about Thailand was never sustainable. Maybe it was always built on an imbalance that couldn't last. And maybe the real test isn't whether Thailand changes, it's whether you can love it anyway. Tell me what I missed. What's your experience on the ground? Are you seeing the same shifts or am I off base? Keep it real in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more real talk about Thailand. See you on the next one. Peace.